We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute of Tuesday's win over the Connecticut Sun. Clark had missed 4 games and the Commissioner's Cup final with that groin injury earlier this month, and now will be out for this weekend's festivities, which really stinks for fans, but you know that if there was any way that she could be out there.
The WNBA just lost its biggest star during its biggest weekend, and this might be the moment everything starts to collapse. Caitlin Clark, the league's undisputed golden goose, confirms she's out of the All-Star Game. Not just the Saturday showcase, but the three-point contest too. That's the headline, but the real story is what it means underneath. Because this isn't just about an injury, it's about a league that failed to protect its most valuable asset. It's about millions in lost revenue, crashing viewership, broken leadership, and a commissioner who can't even say her star's name without deflecting. And now, with CBA negotiations already falling apart and players warning of a potential lockout, Clark's absence could be the spark that sets everything on fire. Adam Silver is watching, the NBA is watching, and they don't like what they see. So how did the WNBA let this happen? And what happens next if they don't fix it? Let's break it all down. But first, if you care about the future of women's sports or just want the truth that mainstream sports media won't say out loud, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're just getting started.
She would be. Shortly before the show, Clark released this statement through the Fever's social media account, saying that she's so excited for Indiana to host WNBA All-Star this weekend, and that she says she knows that this is going to be the best All-Star yet. But she does go on to say how incredibly sad and, quote, disappointed she will not be able to participate, adding, quote, "I have to rest my body. I'll still be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for all of the action. I'm looking forward to helping Sandy coach our team."
Caitlin Clark, the player responsible for the WNBA's biggest ratings, record-breaking crowds, and billion-dollar projections, will not be playing in the league's All-Star weekend. On Thursday afternoon, she announced she'd aggravated a right groin injury earlier in the week and would miss both the All-Star game and the three-point contest. That's not just disappointing, it's a disaster. Because this isn't just any weekend. The All-Star festivities are being held in her city. Her face is plastered all over Indianapolis, from the airport walls to hotel windows to the arena entrance. The entire weekend was branded around her. She was the show, and now she'll be watching from the bench. And the timing couldn't be worse. This isn't happening during some random stretch of the season. It's happening right in the middle of CBA negotiations, with players bracing for a possible work stoppage if progress isn't made soon. The current agreement expires in just over a year, and tensions are already sky-high. Clark's injury, tied directly to repeated physical abuse and officiating failures, is now the ultimate symbol of what's broken in this league. A failure to protect players, a refusal to lead, and a complete disconnect between the league's growth and its ability to sustain it. And that's why this moment is so much bigger than just an injury. It's a credibility crisis for the entire WNBA. Anyone paying attention could see this coming. Caitlin Clark hasn't just been playing basketball, she's been surviving it. Game after game, she's been the target of hard fouls, elbows, cheap shots, and shoves. And the league's officials? Silent, passive, absent. The moment that blew the lid off came when Marina Mabrey shoved Clark to the ground after the whistle. A blatant, dangerous move that only got a technical at first. Not a flagrant, not an ejection. Just a warning. It wasn't until the public backlash exploded that the league quietly upgraded the foul days later. That's not accountability. That's damage control. And it's not the first time Clark's been sent crashing to the floor without a whistle. And while the refs were busy swallowing their whistles, the message got louder. Caitlin Clark is on her own out there. No superstar calls, no protection, just target practice for frustrated opponents. And with every no call, the risk grew. Injuries don't just happen out of nowhere. They build. Groin strain, quad strain, missed games. Clark's body has been absorbing hits she never took in college, all while carrying the weight of an entire league's visibility. The warning signs were flashing in red, and the people in charge either ignored them or didn't care. And now the cost of that negligence just showed up at the worst possible time. You'd think that when your league is breaking records because of one player, you'd move heaven and earth to protect her. But WNBA Commissioner Kathy Angelbert can barely bring herself to say Caitlin Clark's name. Don't take our word for it. Just listen to longtime sports journalist Christine Brennan, who called out Angelbert's bizarre habit of deflecting any question about Clark by immediately bringing up other players. Ask about Caitlin? Angelbert responds with Caitlin and Angel. But Angel Reese wasn't the question. This isn't about downplaying others. It's about failing to acknowledge the single most valuable person your league has ever had. When your commissioner won't even center the conversation around your top star, that's not equity, that's evasion. And when Clark was repeatedly fouled, shoved, and targeted with no protection, Angelbert had a chance to show leadership. Instead, she hid behind PR speak. When asked directly about the officiating that's led to injuries and chaos, her response was beyond tone deaf. I do find it interesting that no winning team ever complains about officiating. That's not leadership. That's arrogance wrapped in denial. This isn't about wins and losses. This is about safety, consistency, and the very credibility of the sport. The Marina Mabrey incident should have been a turning point, a moment for the league to draw a hard line. Instead, Angelbert stayed silent until public outrage forced a correction. That's not proactive leadership. That's crisis management after the fact. And it's not good enough when the future of your league is literally limping to the bench. The WNBA can talk about parity, development, and team-first basketball all day. But the numbers don't lie. Without Caitlin Clark, the league bleeds viewers, revenue, and momentum. Before her injury, nationally televised Fever games were pulling in an average of 1.8 million viewers. After she was sidelined, that number dropped to just 847,000. That's a jaw-dropping 53% collapse in viewership in a league that has spent years begging for more media attention. And it's not just TV. Sportsbooks reported a near 50% drop in betting activity on Fever games the moment Clark was ruled out. That's not just a dip in interest. That's millions of dollars vanishing overnight. And it's all tied to one player's availability. Clark's impact on the league is so massive it borders on surreal. Of the 23 WNBA games that crossed the 1 million viewer mark this season, Clark played in 20 of them. The Fever, a team that finished dead last season, now headline nearly every national broadcast. And when you scan the list of the most watched games of the year, you have to scroll all the way down to number 15 before you find one that doesn't feature her. This isn't just star power. This is structural dependence. The WNBA didn't just market Caitlin Clark. They built their entire business model on her back. And now that she's out, the bottom is falling out and fast. Caitlin Clark didn't miss a single game during her legendary college career. She was an Iron Woman, playing high minutes, drawing double teams, carrying Iowa deep into March every year. And she stayed healthy through it all. But now, just months into her WNBA rookie season, she's missed multiple games and is dealing with a chain of injuries. That is, jumping from one part of her body to the next. Left quad strain in May, then the right quad, now it's her right groin. Sports analyst Rachel Dea said it best. You can't mess around with injuries that are moving around your body. It means something mechanical is off. And what's causing that mechanical breakdown? Constant, unchecked physical abuse that the league refuses to address. These aren't fluke injuries. They're the direct result of accumulated contact, fatigue, and mishandled recovery. All symptoms of a league that hasn't adapted to protect its most valuable player. And the data backs that up. Since the start of the season, WNBA players have suffered 141 injuries in a league with just 179 active players. That's an injury rate that would send any professional sports union into a panic. But in the WNBA, it's business as usual. When a generational talent like Clark goes from indestructible to injured in just a few months under your care, it's not just unfortunate, it's a crisis. And it's one the league created by ignoring what's been right in front of them all season. The officiating in the WNBA isn't just inconsistent, it's dangerous. And it's not just Caitlin Clark feeling the impact. Coaches, players, legends, and analysts have all sounded the alarm. and yet the league continues to treat it like background noise. After one game, WNBA legend Rebecca Lobo said what fans were already screaming at their screens. "There's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab. That's a foul, that's a foul." That wasn't analysis, that it was a breakdown of a single possession where Clark was fouled 4 separate times without a single whistle. If Hall of Famers are calling out refs live on national television, something is very wrong, and it's not isolated. Kelsey Plum went on a full-blown post-game rant, saying, "I get fouled like that on every possession. They're just swinging out there and nobody calls anything." Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White has had to speak out repeatedly, using words like egregious and disrespect to describe what her team has endured. After one particularly brutal game against the Connecticut Sun, she said, "Everybody's getting better except the officials." When coaches are openly blasting the league's referees, not once, but game after game, it's no longer just bad officiating, it's systemic failure. The truth is, WNBA officials aren't full-time employees. They're paid per game, many of them split time with NCAA duties, and they aren't subject to the same professional standards as their NBA counterparts. That kind of part-time structure creates full-time chaos, and the players are paying the price with their bodies, their careers, and now the league's credibility. While the league scrambles to spin headlines and downplay Clark's absence, the reality behind the scenes is far more dangerous. The WNBA is on the edge of a labor crisis. The current collective bargaining agreement expires October 31st, 2025, and players are already preparing for a possible lockout. And who could blame them? The league just posted record growth, higher TV ratings, rising sponsorships, exploding merchandise sales, and yet the foundational issues remain unchanged. Poor working conditions, inconsistent pay, exhausting travel schedules, and now a total breakdown in player safety. The message being sent, we'll cash the checks, but we won't protect the talent. Caitlin Clark's injury couldn't have come at a worse time. She's the face of the league, the revenue magnet, and the focal point of every marketing campaign. But she's also become the example players are rallying around. How can athletes trust leadership to negotiate a fair deal when the most valuable player in the league can't even get a whistle? Clark's groin injury isn't just a health issue, it's a symbol of how the WNBA has outgrown its infrastructure, outpaced its leadership, and now finds itself negotiating with a roster of stars who know their worth and know what happens when that worth isn't protected. If the WNBA fumbles this CBA negotiation, while letting its biggest asset watch the All-Star Game from the bench, it won't just lose momentum, it could lose the trust of its players, and that's a collapse no league can afford. When Adam Silver speaks publicly about another league's problems, it's never casual. And this time he wasn't subtle. The NBA commissioner said exactly what WNBA leadership didn't want to hear. "Of course I want to see Caitlin treated fairly and appropriately in the league." It might sound diplomatic, but anyone who understands league politics knows what that really means. This was a warning shot. Silver isn't just watching the situation unfold from a distance. He sees the WNBA's growth as an extension of the NBA's investment. He sees the billion-dollar TV deals, the expansion talks, the international interest, and he also sees it all collapsing under the weight of mismanagement. Make no mistake, when Silver speaks, it's not just commentary, it's leverage. The NBA is a financial and operational partner of the WNBA. It has influence, it has infrastructure, and if the WNBA can't protect its biggest star, Silver may be forced to step in, whether publicly or behind closed doors. Because at this point, Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie sensation. She's a billion-dollar brand in the making. If she walks, if she breaks down physically, or if public trust in the league collapses, it won't just hurt the WNBA. It will burn every bridge connected to it. Sponsors, media partners, expansion plans, and future investors. That's why Silver's message wasn't a suggestion, it was an ultimatum. Fix your officiating, protect your stars, or risk losing everything. This isn't a storyline anymore. It's not just about headlines or rivalries or one missed all-star appearance. This is a league staring down the consequences of its own inaction. Caitlin Clark showed up, elevated the game, brought in millions of new fans, and put the WNBA on a global stage. And the league couldn't even protect her long enough to get through her first All-Star weekend. That's not unfortunate, that's malpractice. Because here's the truth. Stars don't wait around. Investors don't wait around. Fans don't wait around. And if this league doesn't wake up, if it doesn't fix its officiating, back its players, and lead like its future depends on it, then Caitlin Clark's injury won't be the turning point. It'll be the warning they chose to ignore. If you believe players deserve better, if you want real accountability, if you're tired of watching leadership fail at every level, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This platform doesn't sugarcoat anything. We just bring the truth. Because someone has to.